we're going to do today before we start playing sax is we're going to work on some breathing exercises because woodwinds require air. Mm-hmm. So I have this little trick that I learned called the Darth Vader trick that will get us to really breathe deeply and make sure that we're taking breath from our diaphragm and not from our lungs. So we want to try to make sure that our shoulders aren't moving and that we're taking a nice deep breath. So what I do is I put my hand up here and I breathe in, and we should hear like this sound, this deep sound, and it kind of sounds like Darth Vader. So okay. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do that together, in for 4, and then we can just breathe out for 4. So, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, good. So that's how we want to breathe when we are playing the saxophone. Okay. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up your strap, which is that black little guy, yep. And you just put it over your neck like so. Good. And then we'll worry about tightening it later. Okay. And then we are going to take our mouthpiece, which is this guy, yep, and take off the cover. There we go. So, and then we're going to get a reed, and we have to get the reed wet first, so we're just going to kind of let it chill in our mouth for a little. Okay. Alright, so there are 2 parts to the mouthpiece. This part is the actual mouthpiece part, and then this is called the ligature. And the ligature keeps the reed on the mouthpiece. So, once we get our reed nice and wet, we're going to slip it in underneath the mouthpiece. Yep, so that the barky part is at the bottom. And you want it to see like a sliver of black at the top or no black at all right at the top. Yep, just like that. And then you're going to tighten the screws. Yep, and the screws are always going to be on the right. Good. Good. Okay, so then the next thing that we are going to want to do is we are just going to play on the mouthpiece only. Mm-hmm. So we have to think about what's called an embouchure, or how our mouth is formed, before we even play. So there are like 3 or 4 key things that we want to think about when we're making a saxophone embouchure. The first thing is how much of the mouthpiece we're actually taking in our mouth, and we're going to have about half of the mouthpiece in our mouth. And then we also have to think about how our mouth is going to be shaped. So we want our top teeth to be almost biting on the top, and then our bottom lip is going to curl over our bottom teeth, and then it's kind of like we're almost biting through our lip, but we have that lip like buffering against the reed, so it'll look like this. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we want to think about the actual shape of our lips, and a really great way to get people to get their mouth shaped right is by saying "ah." Okay. Because that keeps our throat open and our tongue down, and then it also makes that round shape of our mouth. So it does kind of like 3-in-1 little thing. So can you say "ah"? Ah. Alright, so then we're going to say that "ah," curl our bottom lip over our bottom teeth, put our top teeth on the top, about half the mouthpiece. There we go. And then when we play on the mouthpiece, we should get a concert A. And that means that our embouchure is set right. So let's try it one more time and try to get the A. Okay. Alright, so it's a little high, so we want to think about our corners, making sure they're nice and firm, and keeping that O shape, not letting them slide out like that. Okay, pretty good. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put the instrument all together. So we're going to grab the neck, this little piece here, and the mouthpiece goes about, I always put it about halfway on, Maybe a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, and then we're going to put the neck down for a second so that we can pick up the body. So we want to pick up the body by the bell, or this big part here, because there's no keys on it, so we don't want to smash these rods, because that could really hurt the instrument. So then we pick it up and put the bell facing away from us, and then we take our neck strap, and there's a little hole here, and it just clips right in. Alright, so then we're going to put the neck on the top here, and just slide it right on in. And then the next thing that we want to do is we want to adjust our neck strap.
Okay.
So you're probably going to want to pull it up more, and we want to make sure that, I guess I'd have to talk about how you hold the instrument. Okay, so our right hand, our right thumb is going to go under this thumb rest, yep, right there, and then our fingers are going to rest on these pearly keys, yep, and then our our pinkies are just going to kind of rest over here, and then our left thumb is going to go on the black thumb rest here. And then your top finger goes on the topmost pearl, and then we skip the second pearl, yep, and then the bottom one, yep, and then our pinky just rests over these keys. Yep, exactly. So when we're adjusting the neck strap, we want to make sure that when we hold the instrument up, it comes right to our face. So that we don't have to work really hard to hold it up. But also, we don't want to over-tighten it, because if we do that, then we're going to be leaning back when we play, and that's no good. We want to be able to keep our body in line so that we can breathe well. Now we've got the instrument all together, and we know how to make a sound. So we're going to work on some notes.
Okay.
Alright, so the first note that we're going to learn is G.
Okay.
So to play G, we push down all 3 pearls in our left hand. Yep, just like that. So I'm going to play a G first, and then I want you to play a G. Alright, very good. And then we are going to learn an A. So an A is 1 note higher than a G. So what do you think would be the fingering?
Take 1 finger off.
Yes, you were so smart. Okay, so I'm going to play an A, and then I'll have you play it. Alright, good. So now we're going to work on going from G to A, and then back down to G to A. So we're going to try to do G, A, G, A. We're going to play them as quarter notes.
Okay.
So we're going to do it together for the first time, and I'll give you 4 counts.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think one of the biggest things that we're going to have to work on is keeping our air steady.
Okay.
That's kind of what seems to be the problem. I want to hear just you play it.
Okay.
So I'll
the
give you
G.
Yeah. We're going to do the same thing again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that was much better. So what were you thinking about when you did that?
Breathing.
Just the air?
Yeah.
That tells me that, like, your embouchure is pretty good, and your voicing and all that kind of stuff, your actual mouth is pretty good. And the only problem that you were having is making the note last. So we want to, a lot of times what I think about is kind of like having a big candle at the bottom. And that helps me just to give a direction to my air. So I have like a goal for where my air is going instead of it just kind of being like, that it has a place to go.
Okay.
But that was much better. So now we're going to learn B. So just like A was taking off the bottommost finger, B is going to be taking off that finger again. Yep, so just the first finger.
Okay.
So. Good. So we're going to go G, A, B, A, G,